Greetings and salutations. Guess what? I'm the Raven. This is Bioshock, and my partner for this is LadyMage.
Team R, I think it's petty time. You're gonna kill me now for making you into a big daddy, aren't you? So, Fontaine, terrible father, terrible leader, con man, scumbag, and somebody who's just as bad as Andrew Ryan, who was a petty fucking bastard.
Oh, they're both terrible. Because I think Fontaine's a little worse because he actively uses people.
Put you in that sub. You were no more than two. You were my ace in the hole. But you were also the closest thing I ever had to a son. And that's why this hurts. Betrayal, kid. Life ain't strictly business.
Man,
Hey, Frank.
oh, here we are on the set of Watchmen fighting Dr. Manhattan. What the fuck?
Catch my breath. And I'm gonna bury you and all your legs.
Dude, this is the final boss. This is not a time to catch your breath.
You think I'm alone in this world? I got more than enough mugs to watch my back while I recharge. You think you got a shot at this? I'm barely getting started.
Yeah, you are barely getting started.
You think I'm alone in this world? I got more than enough mugs to watch my back while I recharge.
Well, where the fuck are they?
There. Actually, you know what? Let's have some fun.
Need a minute. Then I'm gonna cut you into bits.
I'm gonna be honest, he is seriously pathetic.
I topside. I called you back, showed you what you was capable of. Even that life you thought you had, that was something I dreamed up and had tattooed inside your head. Now, if you don't call that family, I don't know what is. And now,
Anything that's not you?
Oh, that's disturbing.
They're kind of hilarious. Kids.
They offered you this city. And you refused it. And what did you do instead? What I've come to expect of you. You saved them. You gave them the one thing that was stolen from them. A chance. A chance to learn. To find love. To live. And in the end, what was your reward? You never said. But I think I know. A family.
And that's it.
I'm not crying.
Yeah. A pretty solid game. Maybe it's frustrating at points where some occasionally trying to track down some of the items is a pain in my ass because of how laid out and spread out they are. The big daddies are a pain to fight as they should be, to the point of, yeah, I've dropped the difficulty just to make it easy on myself. I've come down to Frank Fontaine, facing up against him, and oh good god. I probably should have jacked up the difficulty just to make it interesting, but then it's more of a tank and hits harder.
Yeah.
You see, to the point we get to Bioshock 2, there is no end boss. It's just a long endurance fight.
Why isn't there a boss for Bioshock 2?
Because Amanda Lamb is not Frank Fontaine. She's a person of words, of a philosophy, not a fighter. She took the survivors of Rapture and turned them into a religious family. But the biggest problem with Amanda Lamb, if she was actually considered in the grand scheme of things, she would have had some mention in number 1 because she was too powerful and too dangerous to the likes of Andrew Ryan to keep around.
So it felt so disjointed from the first one that a lot of people just don't bother with it.
That could be it. Is general case, gameplay wise, it is an improvement. Being able to use a weapon and plasmids at the same time, a la old Skyrim style. But since we're talking about no, I don't plan on doing Bioshock 2. I've never actually managed to finish it.
And from the sounds of it, a lot of people really don't consider it canon to the games anyway.
And admittedly, the ending of Bioshock Infinity or Infinite, whatever it is, could actually mean that these two games are on 2 different timelines. Or is this one way just excusing the retcon field nature of the second story?
Maybe. Although, in that case, I definitely prefer the ending to 1 than whatever 2 would be. Because, well, it was so sweet. Like, everyone got a chance to have their own life, to be a man, not a slave, and not in the way Andrew Ryan or Frank Fontaine envisioned that to be, but more a humanitarian way.
And more spoilers for Bioshock 2. Because it comes down to, yeah, you die at the end of Bioshock 2. Prototype Delta does not live to see the end. But at the same time, he needs such an example that his adopted little sister has a view on life and how to approach it. She gets her own life.
So you sacrificed yourself so she gets to live.
It's more of a case of what Frank Fontaine did to this guy, Amanda Lamb did to Prototype Delta. Only Delta couldn't save himself. He could just save the little sister he was bonded with.
So it's a sadder version of the ending we just saw.
It's a bittersweet version.
Yeah.
And admittedly, it's
That's what it's
pretty much
usually.
like the same as in two the endings for this. Is case of you do the harvest of the sisters, or you harvest just one or two of the sisters and save the rest, or just ignore them. It's pretty much the same bit of a video with just a different tone of narration to it.
Mm.
You know, the same again for Bioshock 2, basically, and on the little sister's view on how to approach life.
And thinking on it, again, the endings are a very strong contrast to how the big bads see life. I'm gonna use one because obviously that's the one I'm familiar with. Ryan and Fontaine were more, yes, you're very cute, Stripes. Come here. Cat wants attention. He will get attention, just like yesterday. The the Frank Fontaine and Andrew Ryan were very selfish. I know you keep saying Andrew is less bad than Fontaine, but I would kind of argue they're both equally bad, just in different ways, kind of deal. But they're both extraordinarily selfish. Fontaine's more of a user, and Ryan is more of a petty bitch. So
What Ryan does, he does passively. Very much survival of the fittest, except for survival of the fittest is the survival of the race to breed to the next generation. Now, for how
Fontaine is just in it for himself, purely.
Fontaine was pretty much got it for all he can.
Yeah, but both are basically, like, if one is worse than the other, it's to me a very thin margin because they're both repugnant people.
Oh, they're both terrible people.
But they did have a philosophy that, you know, bare bones is not terrible as long as you take certain things into consideration. That a man should be free to make their own choices. The problem is they took a route that meant without the consideration of others. While our character, the way we played it anyway, because obviously there is the ending where we just kill the little sisters, thus becoming like Ryan and Fontaine, where we, you know, took into consideration others. We helped the little sisters and got the ending where we were free to make our own choices, and so were the little sisters. And in that respect, we were like Ryan and Fontaine, but the difference is our goals were achievable. We just wanted to live a good life, and we did. Because, yeah, we should be free to choose what we want. Dear God, the timing of this speech, ladies and gentlemen. The freedom to choose as we please is something everyone should strive for. But the difference is, a person like Ryan or Fontaine, they were miserable people. Fontaine turned into basically an unhealthy monstrosity at the end of it, and Ryan basically had you kill him out of sheer fucking spite.
Do you know what's worse? You're
What?
right. This character's Ryan's son. I think it's along there in the audio tapes.
Yeah, I think they mentioned it's like Ryan's son, and he was spliced with Fontaine's DNA as well, and weird shit happened, and so yeah, he is the heir to Rapture, but he was the one person that got it right. Stripes, do not turn off my computer.
I think for some of these concepts, it would be more like Resident Evil. Evil and straight up Bioshock.
Yeah, or humanoid appearances. But you get my point, though, is both Ryan and Fontaine were miserable people by the end of it. They weren't happy. They weren't fulfilled. Hell, they weren't even in that great a shape. They weren't on top of the world. They were pitiable. They were pathetic.
Andrew Ryan was sitting on the throne of his kingdom. Yeah, he's rotting, but he believed he could rebuild it. Frank Fontaine was just there to basically gut what he already began to finish the job. They were just at a stage where it's a push was needed to get things doing, and they were going to push for that.
But looking at them, again, Ryan was delusional. Like, he thought he could fix Rapture. There was no fixing that mess. You'd have to start from the ground up. And you'd have to change the philosophy a lot for something like Rapture to work. I think Surratt in one of the videos did mention that some smaller scale versions of Rapture have been tried in the real world. Not under the ocean, obviously, but similar ideas. It never worked. Because of so many different factors that kind of require you to not be selfish. Not be like Ryan or Fontaine. Because you need people like the maintenance worker and the garbage man and even the fast food worker in our world. These are not jobs people want, but these are jobs that are needed and probably more important than the CEO. Or, I will say it, the artist. And this is somebody who wants to be a writer. The problem is that somebody in that philosophy is not going to want to do those jobs because they want to be the philosopher, the writer, the artist, the scientist, the doctor, the CEO. They want to be in that vein. But you need that lower class to hold up the upper class. Dear Lord. If I accidentally start Viva la Revolution in this video, I am very sorry, Raven.
This is what everyone said. Oh, I stopped the video about 5 minutes ago. But I haven't. But, oh hey, we're nearing the 20-minute mark. So yes, this has been Bioshock remastered.
And a philosophy with LadyMage.
So I hope you enjoyed the ride. We're going to be doing something a little different to replace Bioshock.
Here, I think you mentioned.
Bioshock Infinite is on the box. We just need something between Bioshock.
Yeah, we don't want to We don't want to Bioshock you too much.
So until next time, be good, be well, and don't do the plasmids.
And also, give a shit about each other. Screw this whole Ayn Rand philosophy bullshit. We need each other. Be nice. Fucking hell, people. Not hard.
Later, folks. Say bye.
Bye.